Hello YouTube, and here's another unedited production filled with mistakes. This is ham radio for EMMCOM, and why I think some of you are not getting any value for your dollar. This radio is pretty standard. It's the Bofeng UV82. You see them everywhere these days. Or the UV5R, which is probably more popular. A lot of people in the prepared mindedness community tend to come towards these radios because they're really inexpensive and they're pretty decent for what they do. It comes with this standard dummy load called an antenna, and for those of you who know about radio, you know that it doesn't matter how good the radio is, the antenna makes the radio system. For a lot of you that have purchased into these, believing that, you know, in your time of need, you're going to be able to turn it on and communicate, one of the problems you're going to run into is if you look at these frequencies, if you have no idea what these frequencies are or where to look, you're not going to find anything. And to prove my point, we'll just put this on scan.
Scanning begin.
And then we'll...
Scanning stop.
Oh. Put this one on scan.
Scanning begin.
I guess I can only have one scan at a time. But you just let that roll around. And the question I'm asking you is, where do you look? You've purchased one of these radios. I think that's probably a good idea. You may have a friend that has one. You're planning on calling for help. Where do you look? Look at all of those frequencies go by and nothing on any of them. Chances are you're going to be scanning and looking and looking and looking, and your battery will die, and then your radio is a paperweight and you never heard anything. And if you're transmitting on these frequencies, you could be the only one, so nobody's hearing you either. And if you're using this antenna, well, you're not doing very well. The only reason this antenna is on this radio, it's never been on this radio before. I took this radio out of the package and I gave it this antenna here straight away. This is just your basic blade antenna. They work far better than this factory dummy load that comes with the radio. Look at that, still rolling, haven't heard a thing. So these antennas will allow for a far greater transmission, and they give you far more reception. You're going to hear more stuff with it, you're going to talk further. You'll be able to do that using less output power, conserving your battery. The other problem you're going to run into is right here. You're planning for disaster, and when that battery gets low, you're done. You can't recharge it because there's no grid power to plug the wall wart into. One of the things I would suggest you do for yourself, since you thought well enough to purchase one of these radios, is to go online, put in the name of your town, /amateur radio club, start going to some of those clubs. Meet the people who know how to use the radios. Learn the frequencies. Learn where to look for what and on what mode. You know, you want to listen to security services. Well, most of them are using a Motorola. You're not going to hear them on this. You're going to have to go out and you're going to have to get yourself something like this, which is an Anytone, and that's a DMR radio. And if you know how to use it, you will be able to scan into and listen to security frequencies in buildings, because when the lights go out, information is the difference between life and death. Quite literally in many cases. So again, I have a blade antenna. This is an HYS gooseneck blade. You can find them on Amazon for about $35. They're incredibly cheap. Look at this. I've been rattling on for 5 minutes. Nothing. The other thing I would bring up is when you go through your amateur radio course, you learn an awful lot about antennas, how to control and aim your propagation, what the propagation pattern is going to look like, which frequencies are best for which locations. All of that is covered in the course. So it's taking that course is not about getting your certificate and coming into compliance with ham radio. It's not about that at all. It's about having the information you need to effectively use your equipment. Because if you hook up a radio and you put the wrong antenna on it, when you go to transmit, it just smokes and you're done. You're not taking it anywhere and getting it repaired. That's not there for you anymore, at least not available now. You're not opening it up and doing it yourself. That's not going to happen. So you're done. You put the wrong antenna on the wrong radio and you got the magic smoke. Had you have taken the course, you would have understood the antennas, the radios, the frequencies, the bands, everything you need to stop that radio from smoking, because smoking kills. Likewise, when it comes to power outages, I have this radio here. They're very popular. It's an FT3 from Yaesu. They also have an FT2 and an FT5, which take the exact same battery. When you can't recharge, this is what you want. This now holds 18 650 cells. You can source those anywhere in any disaster because everybody owns a power tool. You grab the 18-volt battery for the old Milwaukee drill, you smash it open, you have 6 of these to run your handheld. This particular device I've outfitted with a capacity of 9 volt. Every home has a smoke detector. Every smoke detector has a 9 volt. When a tornado comes by and removes your community, you're still going to find 9 volts. And you can keep yourself on the air. It has a simple battery management system installed. A 2-cell battery management system. This is going to work when finding power is a problem. Not to mention, you can get a USB charging port for these and just dump them in a USB charger. I have enough of these where I can constantly charge and constantly use, and I'll be recharging 2-3 sets before I even cycle what's left. Very inexpensive. These particular batteries I took out of my cousin's Milwaukee battery or whatever it was. He couldn't get it to charge, so I salvaged the parts and they work just fine. Those are the reasons you want to actually get your ham radio certificate. It's not about the certificate, it's about the knowledge. We'll stop this from... Oh, I didn't mean to turn that off. But as you can tell, these frequencies, they just cycle. And there's a lot. An awful lot. There's 2 bands, and where do you look? Where is everybody? I wonder. Because if you're not in the know, you don't know where to look for commercial radio, public communication radio, emergency communication radio. You don't know exactly where the ham bands are. You're going to wind up with more questions than you have answers. And you're going to wind up with more options to go looking through than you have battery. Anyway, this is almost a 10-minute video, so I guess I'll cut it short because I can't edit anything out. This is just my thought on why some of you may have made a good choice purchasing the radio, but you're not getting your value because you didn't get the information you needed. That's all from now. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give me that thumbs down. I've got broad shoulders. I can take it. Feel free to leave a comment, but please be polite. Have a great day.